right.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our Power Podcast All-Star Live Stream Series. I'm your co-host slash moderator, Brother Bedford, and we want to welcome you and thank you for sharing with us your most valuable asset, and that is your time. There's a lot of things that you could be doing, but you've been electing to spend the time with us on our Power Podcast series. And we hope that we have been reciprocating by giving you value, adding something to your life in this difficult time for a lot of people, pretty much for everyone. I say a lot of people. I think everyone is touched by the current situation. And so we hope that we're doing our part to keep you entertained, educated, stimulated, motivated, but we also hope and pray that we're giving you some valuable knowledge and information from some of the best and brightest in Black America that will allow you that in this period, you take what is being shared with you and you digest it, absorb it. And then as we come out of this, because we will come out of this will not last forever.
Right.
So when we come out of this, we'll be brighter, stronger, faster, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, all of those things we want to be able to do. So with that said, we need you to do a few things before we get into tonight's podcast. And I'm extremely excited. Matter of fact, the last time I was out at a live event, I was with these two giants. All of us were receiving an award at SpeakerCon. That was the last live event.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's the last live event we attended. So look, I know we're ready to get going. So here's what we need you to do. And we've had people joining us from Paris, South Africa, the Bahamas, even Singapore. Saw some Singapore people.
Wow.
So Toronto, Canada. So all over the globe, people are chiming in and enjoying the information that's being shared. So what we want you to do is go ahead below in the comment section, please type in your name and where you're from. Let us know where you're from, and even put some insights, some questions, who you want to hear from. Engage with us. Let us know if you're enjoying the podcast, who you want to hear from, what you like, the takeaways. Share that with us in the comment section, and we'll be sure to give you our feedback and engage back with you. With that said, we also want you to share this. Share this with family and friends. Matter of fact, right now, go ahead and hit that share button and let everyone know, your family and friends, all of your Facebook groups. Let them know that we're live and in living color with Dr. George C. Fraser. Let me say the Hall of Famer.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
George C. Fraser and the speaking icon in our midst today, Delatorro McNeal. We're live and in living color right now. So go ahead and share that. Go ahead and follow George Fraser's fan page. You need to do that right now. Therefore, you'll be notified not only about all of the upcoming podcasts that we have coming up, but all of the exciting and provocative things that Dr. Fraser shares with us on a daily basis. You'll get that type of information. One other way to get notified about the podcast and even the past podcasts is go to www.newblackpower.com. Enter your name and email. But here's what I need you to do, because I've had a few people respond and say, well, I haven't been getting notifications. You have to confirm. Once you put in your name and email, you'll receive another email, and sometimes it goes into your spam filter. So check your spam filter, and then you have to hit that link to confirm that you'll receive emails from us, because we don't spam people. We don't believe in spamming. So the only way for you to get it, you'd have to confirm, okay? So with that said, I know you're ready to go. I'm excited. And look, we have the Hall of Famer, and here's what Hall of Famers do. Hall of Famers create language. Hall of Famers create ideas. And there's a term that's going around in the business space that it really sprang from Dr. George C. Fraser. You hear people talking about intellectual capital. And here's what has happened. Dr. George C. Fraser put that in the ethers many years ago. And a lot of people have been talking about that. But I can honestly say that we've been bringing to you well over hundreds of millions of dollars of intellectual capital with everyone that we've been bringing to the table to share information with you. In fact, a few of our presenters have generated billions of dollars in their businesses. And so we don't want you to take this lightly. I really want you to absorb the information that's being shared and really take it to heart and really apply the lessons that you're learning from here. So with that said, I want to turn you over into the hands of the Hall of Famer, Dr. George C. Fraser.
Thank you, Brother Bedford. Let me start tonight by just simply saying, brothers and sisters, pray for a good harvest, but keep on hoeing. Okay, keep on hoeing. So tonight we're going to teach you how to hoe. Now, when I say hoeing, I mean with a hoe, no, like with the rake hoe. Okay,
The
don't
cultivation
get it
tool.
twisted. All right. So we just have to keep working, right?
That's
You want a good harvest. You want it to rain. You want it to have your vegetables, your fruit to have the nurture the nutriments that they want in order to grow. And so this is what we're going to do tonight. We're going to give you some rain. We're going to give you some fertilizer.
That's right.
We're going to give you some motivation. We're going to give you some inspiration tonight. We got one of the baddest young brothers on the planet, Delatorro McNeal. Now Delatorro is all over social media, right? I cannot scroll any of my social media platforms with something about Delatorro and his fire pops up in that platform. So he's probably a familiar face, or certainly a familiar voice to many of you. He is ranked as one of the best motivational speakers in the world
Mm.
and has been transforming lives for over 15 years. He is an awesome brother. I saw him many, many years ago, as I had seen many speakers, and because that's what I do. I travel around the country. I sit patiently in the audiences and I watch speakers. And I saw Delatorro many years ago, and the brother had the fire. He's one I said to myself in the quiet of my own mind, if he just continues with this fire, this kind of passion, this kind of zeal, this kind of work ethic, there's no question that he's going to end up at the top of this game. And he certainly has. He has been on BET, Fox News, ABC, NBC, you name it. Uh, there's a whole page of places he's been. Don't want to spend the time on that. I want to spend the time listening to him as an internationally renowned peak performance expert and keynote speaker and best-selling author. Delatorro has spoken in 49 of America's 50 states and abroad, and has delivered more than 4,000 presentations over the past 15 years to major corporations, professional associations, conventions, pro sports teams, churches, leadership conferences, and notably at the Power Networking Conference, and notably Johnson and Johnson, New York Life, J.P. Morgan Chase, Prudential, Accenture, and a whole host of others. He holds the prestigious CSP designation, the highest international recognition of professional speaking excellence, and he is in the top 12% of paid professional speakers worldwide. He has been featured, as I mentioned earlier, on national and worldwide television networks, and he is the bomb.com. And we're really pleased that he has given us an hour of his time tonight. Now, there's a couple of things that you may have seen on social media with Delatorro. He's famous for one of his little stories. And I say little story because it's not a whole speech, but it's a powerful story. And it's essentially, and in essence, he likes to help us understand that there are bigger fish to fry, right? And he is absolutely right. So I want to welcome Delatorro to our hot seat, to our podcast, to our stage. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Um, Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you. I love you. If you will grace us with that wonderful story. Now, that's not the topic of our. That's the subject of our presentation tonight. It is really about presentation excellence, right? And there's no better person to talk about that and to teach that than Delatorro McNeal. But you got to tell people this story. I love this story on there are bigger fish to fry. I mean, it's
Yes,
a
sir.
wonderful, you take us into a whole nother space when you tell this story. So
Yes, sir.
can you please bless us with that? And then we'll get into the real presentation for tonight.
That sounds excellent. That sounds excellent. Well, I am so honored to be here with you all today. Dr. Fraser, I'm going to tell a story before I tell that story. And I remember being a college student at the Florida State University as a freshman, and I used to get the Black Enterprise magazine delivered to my dorm room, and I was flipping through the magazine, and I see this big ad for the Power Networking Conference. And this particular ad had half your face on it, and it had half Dr. Miles Monroe's face on it. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is it. This is the big time. I'm like, someday I'm gonna go to that conference. I'm a college student, and I'm like, someday I'm gonna go to that conference, and someday I'm gonna get a chance to be in the same room with Dr. Miles Monroe and Dr. George Fraser. I was a college student. And I know what it's like to have a dream of wanting to do something big with my life and to make a difference and to be in the space of people like Dr. George Fraser, who is just literally a legend, a living, breathing legend. And man, that inspired me as a freshman. And I put that photo, that ad on my wall as a college student. And when I met Dr. Lee Jones, who was my first mentor, I showed that ad to him and I said, I want to be in the space with these people. This is what I want to do one day with my life. And he was like, okay, well, you have to work for it. And he said, sit under me and allow me to mentor you and coach you. And I will show you that there's bigger fish for you to fry. And so I sat under Dr. Lee Jones and he mentored me and coached me and groomed me. So that by the time I got out of college and I was able to go to my first PNC conference and I was able to meet Dr. George Fraser, I was just in awe, man. I was floored. I was blown away. I went the first year and just took notes and studied. The second year I came back and I was on Les Brown's speaking team that year and had a chance to have, I think, 5 or 7 minutes on the stage. Mm-hmm. And man, we lit the stage on fire. And the following year you brought me back and said, okay, I want you to actually teach a workshop. So I had a chance to teach a workshop and God has blessed me to be able to be faculty at PNC. And I just want to thank you, Dr. George Fraser. Before I get into the story, I just got to say, man, this is a hallmark for me, man, because I remember, I know what it's like to stick to one thing. One of the things I say all the time is if you want to be successful, be like a stamp and stick to one thing until it delivers.
Yes.
Say it again. If you want to be successful, you got to be like a stamp and stick to one thing until it delivers. And I stuck with speaking, whether I was single or divorced. I stuck with speaking, whether I was making money in real estate or not. I stuck with speaking, good market, bad market, good economy, bad economy. As a single dad, as a married dad, I stuck with speaking when it was popular, when it wasn't popular, before social media, now that we've got social media. And I just want to encourage everyone right now, in spite of everything that we're dealing with, stick with your course. Stick with whatever that thing is. Go back to your first love. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I've never seen a tree come out of the ground with multiple trunks.
No, right. Delatorro. There are 3 hot spots on your face. I don't know. Something is reflecting.
Okay. Let me slide over.
Reflecting. It's now it's on your shoulder. But
okay, I think it's the sunlight.
It comes to your face and it distracts from that melodious and beautiful voice, those wonderful stories, and that big smile. So we don't want that on your face. It's on your shoulder right now. Okay. I don't know it's a reflection from something.
Sun. I think that's the sun.
This the little thing from the blinds. The sun is setting on this side of my house.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So it's on your shoulder now. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
Not on that handsome face, though. We don't want it on the handsome face. All right.
So Dr. Fraser, it was amazing for me when I had a chance to learn and realize that there was bigger fish to fry. And you taught me that, and getting a chance to go to PNC and go as a participant and then get a chance to do a workshop and then become faculty and be on the main stage. You have been such an instrumental part of my evolution, of my growth, of my development. And I just want to encourage everyone out there. I've never seen a tree come out of the ground with multiple trunks. So what I mean by that is focus on your one thing. They're going to sum up your life. At the end of your life, they're going to sum up your life with one word. And that one word is what I like to call your magnificent obsession. When they say Dr. George C. Fraser, everyone around the world is going to say Power Networking Conference, Black Excellence. That's what they're going to say about this remarkable man, because that's his magnificent obsession. So my question to you becomes, what is yours? Even in this season, right? Even in everything that we got going on right now, now that you've got time to think, now that you don't have to grind, now that you don't have to hustle, now that you don't have to do all this stuff to look busy and look productive and outperform everybody, what is your magnificent obsession? And are you willing to commit to being masterful at that magnificent obsession? Because that's what Dr. Fraser has done. And thank God that's what I've been able to do. And because I've been able to do that, Doc, I've been able to really craft a brand that's given us global recognition. And we've been able to do some really remarkable things. You've had several of my mentors on here. You've had Dr. Willie Jolly, who took me under his wing, and you took me under your wing, and Les Brown. And I know you had Dr. Jamal Bryant. He and I are great friends. I mean, so many remarkable people. And you and I just had a chance to do EbonyCon together. And we had a chance to be on SpeakerCon together. And it's a wonderful thing to go from admiring you in a magazine to being able to call you friend, mentor, coach, leader, father figure, you know? And so I just thank you and I salute you for everything that you've done. And I wanted to tell that story because I think one of the keys to realizing that you've got bigger fish to fry is being around bigger fish. And I think it's so important for every one of us to surround ourselves with people that are going to take us to the next level and that's going to push us to the next level. And Doc, you've done that for me for so many years and you continue to. So I love you. I appreciate you. And I just wanted to honor you at the beginning of this podcast by letting everyone know that at the end of the day, you need people around you that outthink your thinking. You need people around you that push you further than what you believe that you can accomplish and achieve. And always look at these pioneers and these legends as people who can show you what excellence looks like. Get up and close to it. And I thank you for that, man. And I love you and I celebrate you. So I just wanted you to
God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. Bigger fish to fry. What can people do right now in their grind? That will help them thrive in these challenging times. I mean, these are some challenging times.
So
I'm loving it personally. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, man. Right? People call me up and say, Doc, how you doing in the pandemic? I said, man, I'm loving this, man. This is the best thing that has ever happened to me in 75 years. I've never had a 16-week sabbatical. Okay, where I've been grounded. I can't go no place but go with inside myself, think of new things and innovate, right? So I'm loving it, right? But that's just how I think.
That's right. And see, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change.
Right.
When we change the way we look at things, the things that we look at change. So I want to tell you a quick story, a story of an old man who was fishing in the lake. And this old man was fishing in the lake, and this old man was catching big fish and little fish. He was catching big fish and little fish. And every time he would catch a big fish, he would throw that big fish back. Every time he caught that little fish, he would put that little fish on ice in his cooler. So he did this for hours. He was catching big fish and little fish, big fish and little fish, big fish and little fish. Every time he caught that big fish, he would throw the big fish back. Every time I caught that little fish, he put that little fish on ice in his cooler. There's a little boy off at the shore watching the man fish. He's seeing this man do this for hours. He's perplexed and he's amazed. And at the end of about 3 hours, the storms begin to come in. So the old man begins to bring the boat back to the shore. He brings the boat back to the shore and he begins to gather his belongings and starts walking home. The little boy runs up to the man and says, hold on, wait a minute. I've been watching you for hours. You were catching big fish and little fish, big fish and little fish, big fish and little fish. And every time you caught that big fish, you would throw that big fish back. And every time you caught that little fish, you put that little fish on ice in your cooler. Why, sir, did you do that? Why every time you caught that big fish, you threw the big fish back? And the old man stopped in his tracks and reached into a small little book bag and he said, well, son, I hate the fact that every time I caught that big fish, I had to throw that big fish back. But you see, back at home, all I have is this little itty bitty frying pan. And what's amazing is that before we all laugh too hard, I believe that God in life constantly gives us big fish and little fish, big opportunities, little opportunities, big individuals, small individuals, big vision, small vision, big surroundings, small surroundings, right? Big ideas, little ideas. And most of us throw back the big things and we settle for the little things that fit inside of our comfort zone. We settle for the little things that fit inside of our bank account. We settle for the little things that fit in the way that we were raised, in our background, and what matches what we perceive is possible for us. And I believe every single one of us need to understand that in the middle of what's going on right now, there are bigger fish to fry. The problem with that old man is that he kept throwing back the big fish because of his little resources. And he didn't understand that that one big fish could feed him for a whole month. And he wouldn't have to go out and keep getting those small, tiny little fish. And Dr. Fraser, you see this all the time because you encourage us as African-American entrepreneurs to constantly go after bigger doors, bigger contracts, bigger connections, bigger relationships, have a bigger vision. That's what the Power Networking Conference is all about. But we can't throw back the big things because they don't match our little background, our little surroundings, where we've come from. We have to understand that God is a big God. He's an abundant God, and he wants us blessed to the max. So we've got to stop throwing back the little things, and we got to hold on to that big old fish, that big old dream, that big old vision. Get ourselves a knife, get ourselves some aluminum foil, some saran wrap, right? And we can catch in one big, I believe with one big idea, one big vision, one concept. We can do with one concept what it would take 100 tiny concepts to do. And I think every one of us needs to be reminded. See, most adults don't need to be taught. They just need to be reminded. We need to be reminded that there's something big that God has in store for you to do with your life.
That's
There's
right.
something amazing there's a magnificent obsession that you are supposed, and it's one thing. It's one thing. If I say Oprah, you say television. If I say Tyler Perry, you say plays and productions and theater, right? If I say Denzel Washington, you say acting, right? At the end of the day, I can sum it up in one thing. Everyone's going to be known for one primary thing. And what is that magnificent obsession for you, my friend?
Yeah.
And it's not just, Doc, it's not just given to some of us. Every one of us have it. It's just that some of us were able to tap into it and cultivate it. And I love you because you inspire every one of us to get the greatness out of us. And you require that we are to be excellent in everything that we do. And you don't stand for anything less than that, Doc. And that's what I love about you. So this whole conversation about not settling for the small fish means stop settling for the small doors, the small opportunities, the small individuals, the small-minded thinking, and begin to get around thinking that outthinks you. Begin to get around people. I surround myself with speakers who make more in 1 hour than I make in a whole month because it pushes me to grow. It pushes me to stretch, and it pushes me to get better. And Doc, I just firmly believe in the importance of us surrounding ourselves with people who are going to help us envision bigger.
Wow. Wow. That was a mic drop, Delatorro, right there. That was the mic drop. And yeah, that is so profound and so well stated. I mean, no one gets excited about small ideas. We get excited when people are talking to us about big ideas.
Yes.
And I just love that story. I could hear you say it 50 times. And, we know that the key to learning is simplicity and repetition, right? We got to hear 50 ways on 50 different days. And so every time I catch you on a platform telling that story, because I don't know how many times people have viewed that story, but I've watched it at least 4 or 5 times. I think part of it is the energy that you give to it, the passion that you give to it,
Thank you.
sense of humor, the way you laugh. I mean, you have that kind of laugh that makes other people laugh just because you're laughing. You haven't even said anything, right? So that's very charismatic. That's very, very, it's very rich, and that's a blessing. For people that don't know you, we know you, right? A lot of us know you. Or don't know your background. You talked about background earlier. Tell us a little bit about your background that puts you into the public speaking and presentation arena. Now, this is where the big dogs eat, right? This is where to get on a stage, right? And stand in front of 1,000 people, right? You really better know what you're saying and what you're doing. And what got you there?
I got to be honest with you, Dr. George, my mother. So both of my parents, I was raised by 2 parents. Neither one of my parents were entrepreneurs, but both of my parents taught me 2 words that you don't see on social media much today, and that's work ethic.
Yeah.
My mother was a Sunday school teacher. She was an English teacher. So if you were going to be Olivia's kid, you had to be able to talk. You had to be able to speak. So from the time I was 2 years old, I used to watch my mother constantly. She would be around the house. My mom used to narrate gospel plays and productions. So after school, it was nothing for me to have to go to an auditorium and listen to my mom do the narration for these gospel plays and productions before we would get groceries and come home and cook. And so my mom was a very articulate woman. She never made it to the itinerant speaking stages that you and I know today, but she was just a very articulate woman, and she passed that gene on to me. I remember when I was in the 4th and 5th grade, I got the longest parts in the Easter play, the Christmas play. I used to have to play Jesus, Moses, Abraham. My mom would be in church 2 and 3 rows back while I was speaking, and she would say, "I can't hear you. Use your hands more. Project." She would give me all these hand signals. And so my mom really instilled in me the gift of oratorical excellence at a very young age. And then my father was shot in the upper back twice fighting for you and I in the Vietnam War, left on the battlefield for dead. My parents divorced when I was 2, so I didn't grow up around my dad much, but my dad gave me his name and he gave me his tenacity. My dad's been in a wheelchair longer than I've been alive. My father could have easily sat back on a government check his whole life as a disabled veteran because my dad's paralyzed from the waist down. But my dad decided to one day lead the same organization that rehabilitated him. And my dad became the national director of the Paralyzed Veterans Association of America in Arlington, Virginia for over 15 years. creating policy for paralyzed veterans. And so I've watched my dad from a wheelchair do the impossible. And my name, Delatorro, in Spanish stands for of the bull. And I've just always had this determination within me to not quit and not give up. So what's put me in this space as a speaking coach, as a presentation skills expert, has literally been from growing up, seeing, being around my mom, being around my dad, and growing up in student leadership. I got involved in student leadership at an early age in junior high and high school. I got to Florida State University. And while I was at Florida State, I got a lot of leadership positions. I was an orientation leader. I was an RA, and I really had to do a lot of speaking and presenting. And I joined Toastmasters while I was in college. While I was in college, I joined Toastmasters International because I wanted to work on this craft of speaking and presenting. And people just kept saying, man, you have a gift. You need to do this. So when I graduated college, I began to start getting around the greats. I surrounded myself with people like Les Brown and Dr. Willie Jolly, and they began to mentor me and coach me, and Tony Robbins and so many others. And they began to teach me, and I paid to get access to those people. Here's what people don't understand. There's only two ways to get access to greatness. Please write this down. You can pay to play, or you can seek to serve. I'm gonna say that again. There's only two ways to get access to greatness. You either pay to play or you seek to serve. And I've done both. I've served my way into some of the greatest chambers, and I've also paid my way to get access to show people that I was serious. And then people took me under their wing. But at the end of the day, I was willing to do both because I wanted to get close to what I wanted. And I want to stop right there and say that right now. Y'all, this pandemic gives you a wonderful opportunity because everyone's life has slowed down. Who do you want to get close to? Come on, somebody. I'm going to say that again. Right now, because everybody's grounded, it's a great time for you to get close to somebody that's usually too busy. Right. So who do you want to get close to? Who do you need to get close to? And when you get close to them, what are you going to say to them to impress them? What are you going to say to them that's going to make them say, man, I need to take this young man or this young woman up under my wing? So Dr. Fraser, that's what it's been for me. So I came out of college, I went into corporate America, and I worked for corporate America for 1 year, and I got laid off because they laid off everybody in the training and development department, and I knew I wanted to be a speaker. But I was 21 years old with a master's degree. And I'm like, nobody's going to take me seriously. What do I do? And so I went to the National Speakers Association, and Dr. Willie Jolly said, listen, you got to pick a niche and grow rich. What's one thing you've done a really good job at? I said, I did a pretty good job at college. He said, okay, then you need to go around teaching college students how to do what you did in school. Because I went to Florida State, I got a bachelor's and master's, 2 degrees in 5 years with a 4.0 and no debt. So for the first 6 years of my speaking career, Dr. Fraser, I went around the country teaching college students how to succeed in school. And that began to grow for me. And that I started coming on. I got on television, I got on radio, that grew. So I started doing a lot of stuff at churches, that grew. I started doing stuff for corporations, that grew. And a lot of different doors started opening for me. And so for me, the presentation skills space, I didn't set out to want to become a presentation skills expert. I sought out to become the best motivational speaker that I could be. Mm-hmm. But because my master's degree is in curriculum design, instructional systems, when I came into the speaking space, my instructional systems brain said, okay, this whole 3 points in a poem thing is not going to cut it. People need content, people need substance, people need depth. And so I began to start applying the laws and the rules of instructional design, curriculum design, to how I built speeches, to how I built training, to how I built content. And that is what allowed me to begin to start shifting. And I said, Lord, if you will make me a full-time speaker, I will train as many people as possible on how to get into the speaking space myself. So although I'm 42 at the time of this recording, and I've been full-time speaking for 16 years, I've been training speakers for over 11 years, mentoring influencers, helping them write books, helping them build their speaking brands, et cetera, et cetera. Every time I speak at Power Networking Conference, I give presentations on how to crush the stage. That's one of the brands that we've developed over the years, is teaching speakers how to crush the stage. And crushing the stage is when you're so good, the speaker that comes after you is pissed. You left it all on the stage. You killed it. You crushed it, right? That's all about that Black excellence that listen, you cannot be around Dr. George Fraser and not commit to being the best at what it is that you do. And I believe that that's what it started for me. And I want to say this quick note about excellence. Be excellent at your level. I want to say that to everybody who's listening right now. Be excellent at your level. Don't compare yourself to me, who's been doing it 16 years full time, or Dr. Fraser, who's been doing it full time for 30, 40 years. Be excellent at your level. If you got $25 and you got $25 to build a website, that better be the best $25 website you got. But I want you to work that $25 website till you can get you a $500 website. And then, you know what I'm saying? Be excellent at your level. Stop trying to Because so many people, Doc, they're out there trying to keep up with people who put 30 and 40 years in the game. There's no such thing as an overnight success. It takes time. It takes a process. Be excellent at your level. Seek out excellence. Serve excellence, right? And then you will become excellent.
Right. You have marvelous presentation skills and awesome and very strong persuasive skills. I feel sorry for those young sisters that mess with you. You are very, 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 very strong and very persuasive. Why is that important? And how has that served you? And how does one develop strong presentation skills and persuasive skills? And let me just add one little caveat to that.
Please, yeah.
Is that nature or nurture? Is that DNA and modeling and parenting?
Yeah.
Is it an equal balance of both? Is it just programmed into you in some way? You're born with something special, a special piece of DNA, but of course it has to be nurtured. What is that?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal question. I firmly believe it's the 80-20 rule. I really believe it's 20% nature, 80% nurture. I really believe that, Doc. I know so many people who are born with gifts and talents don't do nothing with it. And they don't do nothing with it. They don't cultivate it, et cetera, et cetera. There's a quote that says this. It says hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Right.
Hard work
every day of the week. Every day of the week.
Hard work beats talent. I got chill bumps. Hard work beats talent, right? So in other words, nurture beats nature when nature doesn't work, right? So you could be born on third base, as some people call it, right? Born with all of this advantage. But if you do not take the time to cultivate and nurture that which you were given, those skills, they get dry. They rot out, they rust, right? We see this with we see this with helicopters and airplanes. You take a brand new 737 and you leave it in the hangar for 3 years, it'll be worn out. You fly that thing for 3 years, it'll be in better condition than the one that's in the hangar.
Right.
Your gifts and talents were never meant to stay on the ground. You're supposed to stay in the sky because your gifts and your talents are cultivated in the higher atmospheres. So I firmly believe that it's that ability for all of us to develop and cultivate. Public speaking, I want everyone to please write this down, and if you put this in the comments, public speaking and presentation is a skill. It is a skill. Networking is a skill. Leadership is a skill. Budgeting is a skill. Time management is a skill. Public speaking is a skill, and persuasive presentation is also a skill. And I'm going to say something on this podcast that's going to bother everyone. I am going to go so completely against the grain.
Good.
Okay? Good. Because here's what I firmly believe. Every one of us who influence, we say that we want to teach. We say that we want to educate. We say that we want to inform. We say that we want to minister. We say that we want to empower. We say that we want to motivate. We use all these cute words to describe what we want to do. And the truth is, we don't want to do any of that. The truth is, you want to persuade. Every single influencer ultimately wants to persuade. And here's how I know that. The moment that your presentation has a predetermined outcome, it is no longer informative. It is no longer ministerial. It is no longer just empowerment. See, those are the styles that we use with which to get the message across. But my friend, you're trying to persuade, because when you persuade someone, you are trying to shift their attitudes, their thoughts, their beliefs, and their actions. And my friend, I don't care if you sell supplements, when you give a presentation about omega-3, 6, and 9, or turmeric, right, or ashwagandha, right, at the end of the day, did you tell me about ashwagandha just because you want me to know about it, or do you want me to actually start taking it, right? Did you tell me about intermittent fasting because You want me to know about it, or because you want me to start doing it? Did you tell me about the importance of coming to the Power Networking Conference because you want me to know it exists, or do you want me to register? At the end of the day, every one of us, our real goal is to persuade. When Brother Bedford is talking to people about digital marketing, he's doing so in such a way to get them to want to work through his organization to bring that to bear for them in the biggest, best, baddest way. So at the end of the day, every one of us, we don't just want to motivate, we don't just want to inspire. Every preacher is a persuasive speaker because they're trying to help you make a decision to follow Christ as your next best step, your next best decision. Every one of us ultimately want to persuade. Now, here's the deal. I believe that we must learn how to persuade with three things: excellence, ethics, and integrity. Excellence, ethics, and integrity, because here's the thing. Persuasion can be easily misconstrued as manipulation, okay? But persuasion is the number one skill that's used on you every day, all the time. Right. Every time you go on YouTube, before you can watch the video you want to watch, you're about to be persuaded. Why? Because they show you a quick ad before you watch what you want to watch. Every ad on Facebook is persuasion. Every television commercial is persuasion. Most of the emails you receive are based in persuasion. They're trying to influence a decision that you're about to make. So at the end of the day, we have to learn that this skill is being used on us every day, all the time, Doc. So if it's being used on us every day, all the time, we must learn to leverage the skill of persuasive presentation with excellence, ethics, and integrity, so that way we can put our brands out there in such a way that people will make a good decision to want to do business with us. Because I'm gonna bless everybody in the room, watch this. People are going to buy something. And if you don't put your excellence out there, you're forcing humanity to buy a subpar product.
Woo. Woo. That's 2 mic drops. I think this, hey, Brother Bedford, I think this is going to be a 10 mic drop night, right?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Matter of fact, I think he's already dropped about 5.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Every now and then, people ask me for a marketing tip. And you've added a new dimension to one of my marketing tips. As I said, people don't buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. That's what they buy: relations, story, and magic.
Yes,
and through those stories and through those relationships that you develop and through the magic and the pixie dust you put on it, that's persuasion to me. That's what they're buying. They want to be persuaded. They want you to be successful. Persuade me. Right. Yeah. So that's powerful. That's really, really powerful. It really is. You are a stickler for this particular term. I love this term. And don't confuse the industry with the skill set. What does that mean? Don't confuse the industry with the skill set.
When I ask most people, Dr. Fraser, do you need to, now keep in mind, public speaking is the number one fear in America, Canada, and 50% of the world. People would rather go on a scary roller coaster. They'd rather get in a car accident. They would rather go to the hospital. They would rather get COVID-19, unfortunately, than have to give a presentation. Literally, it ranks as one of the highest fears known to man, is the ability to get up on stage and give a presentation. So one of the things that I've realized is at the end of the day, we have to understand that this is a massive fear for a whole lot of people. So when I ask audiences, how many of you all need to work on your presentation skills? The number one response that I get back from people is, well, I don't want to be Michael Beckwith. I don't want to be Dr. George Fraser. I don't want to be Delatorro. I don't want to be Les Brown. I don't want to be Eric Thomas. I don't want to be Lisa Nichols. I don't want to be Danny Johnson. I didn't ask you that. Because what happens is most people, when they hear you say, do you need to work on the skill of presentation, they see the industry and they confuse the industry with the skill set. So you say, okay, well, I don't want to, travel all over the world and give presentations. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, do you need to work on your public speaking and presentation skills? Do you personally need to work on that skill so that way you can share your products and services, share your story and your message and your magic with the world in a more profound way to get people to make the decision that your products and services are their best next logical step? Do you need to work on that? Once I say it like that, then say, oh yeah, I kind of need to. Yeah, because you're clear that now it's a skill that you need to have. And most people excuse, right, the skill away by blaming it on the industry and saying, okay, well, I don't want to travel all across the country. No. You got to understand that you don't have to be any of us to develop this skill and to have this ability to get better and to get better faster. Because my friend, if you want to go to the next level, it's going to be hinged upon your ability to be able to deliver a message with meaning and impact that's going to get someone to make a good decision. Because here's what's important. I believe every one of us, Dr. Fraser, need to use our influence as a power battery to give people a jump that they need. I say this to influencers all the time. At the end of the day, you've got to be jumper cables for your audience, whether it's a live audience or virtual. You have to be jumper cables. What I love about a battery is that when a car stalls out, right? We've all had this experience happen before, right? And another car comes up, the good car, you attach the jumper cables from the good car to the bad car, and bang, all of a sudden, that car whose battery was dead, now all of a sudden comes alive again. And if you run that car long enough on the road, the battery will begin to regenerate itself. Come on, somebody.
Right.
We have to use persuasion to help people bypass, write this down, the conscious critic. Every one of us have a conscious critic. I teach people this all the time, Dr. Fraser. Your brain is only your friend when you train it.
Right.
I'm gonna say that again. Your brain is only your friend when you train it. Because the truth is, for most of us, our brain is our greatest enemy. Because people don't understand the difference between the brain and the mind. Your brain is literally millions of years old, but it is your mind that you can cultivate every single day. Come on, somebody, to grow, to stretch, to learn, to expand, to take you to the next level. And your brain talks you out of some of your best ideas because your brain doesn't want you to fail. So every time you come up with a new big fish, a new big concept, a new big network, a new big mastermind, your brain says, we've never done this before. And if you've never done it before, your brain's going to say, don't do it, because the human mind, the brain, right, will do whatever it can to avoid pain and gain pleasure. Your brain does not want you to experience failure. That's why the psychological construct of fear was created, right? Fear thinks you're 5 years old. Fear has one job, and that one job is to keep you safe. And the reason why I'm talking about fear is because public speaking is a fear. And if we can go after the number one fear that most people have, and if I can get you past that, then the fear of working on your marriage goes out the window. The fear of being a better parent goes out the window. The fear of working on your physical body goes out the window. The fear of you starting that business goes out the window. So my friend, we've got to get you out of fear and get you into skill development, because job security is gone, but skill security is alive and well.
I'm trying to do my job here, Delatorro, and you got me taking notes and stuff. I mean, I'm an elder. I'm taking. I got 2 pages full of notes here, right? That's awesome. That is awesome. I love that. I love that thought around speaking is a huge fear. In fact, from all the statistics, speaking is the number one fear the human being has. It's greater than the fear of dying.
Exactly.
Speaking, greater than the fear of dying.
Yeah.
So here's now I want you to take a note on this. So here's a way for you to say this going forward.
Yes,
the
sir.
number one fear is the number one fear is the fear of speaking. The number 2 fear is the fear of dying, and the number 3 fear is the fear of speaking and dying in front of an audience. I've done all 3.
Stolen. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate that.
Right? Don't forget the law of attribution. You give me credit 3 times, then you steal it.
3 times, and it's gone, and the Holy Spirit did it. Yes, sir.
Amen. So regardless of the type of presentation that you're delivering,
yeah,
you believe that there are only 3 parts to any talk.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and how that pertains to your crush the sale.
Yeah. So one of the things that I firmly believe, Doc, is that I believe, I love something Einstein said. He said, genius is our ability to take complex concepts and break them down to where they're so simple that everybody can understand them. And so here's what I firmly believe. Whether we're giving online presentations or live presentations, whether we're speaking 1-to-1, 1 to 10 in a boardroom, or 1 to 10,000 in a coliseum, there are only 3 parts of any presentation. There's your open, there's your body, and there's your close. There's 3 sections of a presentation: the before, the during, and the after. And so one of the things that I decided to do 2 years ago, Dr. Fraser, Warren Buffett went on record on Forbes magazine. He said that his public speaking courses were the most important business skill he ever developed. And when he went on record to say that, and it was all over LinkedIn for several weeks, I said, man, I've written all these books. I've written 7 books, but I'd never published a book on the skill that I had been using all of these years to really do what it is that I do. And so I decided to really start teaching so much more on the skill of presentation and the skill of public speaking. And that's one of the things that I realized, Doc, is that if you really take any presentation, it doesn't matter what it is, there's only 3 parts: the open, the body, and the close. The beginning, the before, the during, and the after. So one of the things that I decided to do was I decided to create my first online course, and it's called Crush Your Sales. And the whole purpose of the course is to teach people the 3 stages of every presentation. What to do before your presentation. How do you construct a presentation, a persuasive presentation that grows your sales and grows your closing ratio and gets people to actually enroll in your programs, products, services, things of that nature. What to do during your presentation, and then what to do at the end. Because guess what? You can do a great job during your talk and do a whole lot of things after the talk that destroy your sales. One simple example: talking to people too long that aren't going to buy. I can't tell you how many times people have let 1997 walk. Brother Beverly, come on, George, we've all seen the long lines of people wanting to come up and do business, and you're sitting there talking to one person, hearing their story about how bad their life has been for 3 minutes longer than necessary, and 1497 just walked away, went to the bathroom, and it ain't coming back, right? So one of the things that I teach in my program is that you've got to be quick. When you're an influencer, whether it's online or offline, people want to connect with you. They want to touch you. They want time with you. And at the end of the day, you ain't got all day to spend all day with everybody. You got to kiss babies, shake hands, high five, and go on to the next person. So one of the things that I teach is, and also I teach this, at the end, when you're done speaking, you're not done. So many people they run out of gas by the time their presentation's over, and then when you meet them at the table, they're a jerk, or they're mean, or they're shrewd, or they're arrogant, right? And you see who they really are, and by the time you've done that, I don't want to buy anything from you. So I help people understand that there's only 3 phases of your presentation: the before, the during, and the after. But it's what you do in those 3 phases that determines everything. So I put together a 30-video online course. It's one of the most comprehensive things I've ever seen. Each video is about 7 to 9 minutes in total length. And we do 10 videos on how to structure your persuasive presentation from beginning to end. 10 videos on how to deliver it, whether it's live or virtual. I give you 10 of my best tips, over 20 years of experience, 10 of my best tips on how to actually deliver in the moment. How do you need to be? How do you need to perform in the moment? And then I give you 10 powerful videos on what to do after you wowed them. Because most people, Dr. George Fraser, are not prepared for when people like them. We're so used to struggle. Come on. We're so used to things not working. We're so used to the devastation and the disappointment. I ask all my students, I ask every student I've ever coached, I ask them one question: what happens when they like you? And most people cannot give me an answer. And because we're not prepared for success, we're not prepared for the next level. We don't have the opt-in page ready. We don't have enough people in the database that we can add in. We haven't connected the text to join and this and that and other. We're not prepared for the avalanche of blessing because we're so used to famine.
Mm.
And my friend, I think it's vitally important that there is an after stage that you got to take care of afterwards. How do you take care of your people after you've wowed them? What do you got to do for them? Why is it so important that you be confident after you spoke? Why is it important that you close your presentation with gratitude? Why does that matter? People say never thank your audience. I always thank my audience, and it shows up in my bank account. Why? Because they didn't have to listen. They didn't have to pay attention. They didn't have to interact. They didn't have to take notes. Does that make sense? There's so many things that I think that we can do to take it to the next level in our ability to present better, present our ideas and our programs and our products and our services. And Doc, that's what I believe. I believe every one of us has the mandate to become excellent at our ability to articulate how we are a problem solver for the people that have the pain that our solution solves.
Awesome. All right, so obviously we're not going to have enough time. We're down to 11 minutes. Everybody is, the sponge is full. But this is so rich. But really quickly, Delatorro. Now this sounds like something that not only solopreneurs can use, but if you are a business owner that employs people, and all of them have some sort of contact with your customers, and maybe they are the primary contact. They could be the person that when they call in, one of your employees answers the phone. That we call that your living room. That's the first impression
Yes,
of
sir.
you
Yeah.
in your business. So this sounds like something that companies and businesses can use. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We
Mhm.
created Crush Your Sales to specifically be a B2B as well as a B2C play. We were very, very intentional to make sure that we teach presentation skills in such a way, persuasive presentation skills in such a way that whether you're a financial services professional or in direct sales network marketing, whether you're insurance, whether you're real estate, whether you're in ministry, whether in academia, military, whether you're in Fortune 50, Fortune 500, whether you manage a sales team of 50 sales agents, at the end of the day, whether it's B2B or whether it's B2C, you are your brand. You're a solopreneur and you're out there sharing your message and story. At the end of the day, the principles are universal. They apply to absolutely everyone. And they're across the board principles, tried and true principles, whether you're selling a book, whether you're selling a cruise ship, whether you're selling a $500,000 home as a real estate agent, whether you're selling a $1,497 course as an internet marketer, whether you're selling a monthly subscription as a direct sales professional, whether you're selling athletes into the NBA draft. It does not matter. The sales processes are all the same. And the skill of persuasion is applicable to absolutely every single industry. And so we built the course in such a way that people from both sides, B2B or B2C, would benefit drastically from the program. So it's absolutely awesome, man. We're really, really grateful about it. People can learn all about it by visiting the website crushthesale.com. Crushthesale.com is the website for our online program. And you have 24/7 access. We built it on the Thinkific platform, Dr. Fraser, which it's one of the most stable, one of the most tried and true global leaders in online course development. We have bonus videos, bonus modules. There's PDF downloadable worksheets in the course. It's incredible. It's really, really powerful. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of it as if it was a brand new book that's on the bestsellers list. We've written a bunch of those, but I'm very, very proud of this course because we put our foot in these collard greens. We really put our best into it. High quality video content. The videos are instructionally designed in such a way where the learner wins. And like you talked about this earlier, Dr. Fraser, we don't learn anything one time that we really mastered. Repetition is the mother of skill and rehearsal is the father of learning. They didn't teach you 2 + 2 is 4 once. They taught it to you 10,000 times. And learning is simply the processes of attaching new information to old information, right? And that comes through repetition. So at the end of the day, the reason why I love online course development is because it gives us a chance to, at our own place, learn and receive and rehearse these principles over and over and over again. And I think that's what really makes it awesome as well, Doc.
You also, and I've seen you teach this course, you give a really deep outline at the Power Networking Conference. You'll be with us again
Yes.
This year, October 14th through the 17th. God bless you. Thank you so much. But so I've seen you teach this course a number of times that you have spoken at our conference. You teach something in this course that is really powerful that I want you to talk about a little bit. We're down to about 7 minutes. You say that most speakers speak for reaction and not retention. Okay. Now, what does that mean, and how does that kill your sales?
Oh God. Whew. See, you're knocking on Doc, man. God. Okay. Most influencers, most speakers speak for reaction. They speak for a transactional moment with the audience. They want the aha. They want the standing ovation. They want the clap. They want the ooh. They want the note taking, right? But at the end of the day, people need to understand, please write this down. The insight is not the change. And most speakers are hooked on, what can I do to get that crowd reaction, right? In this course, in Crush Your Sales, I teach you to speak for retention and not reaction. Here's the difference. We've all heard speakers who were amazing. They were mesmerizing while we were listening to them. By the time you got to the parking lot and started driving home, if I asked you, what did that person say? What are the 3 biggest takeaways you got from that person? You can't tell me, because they spoke for reaction and not retention. Here's the problem. If we speak for reaction, we're not remembered. If you can't be remembered, you can't be rebooked. If you can't be remembered, you can't be referred. If you can't be remembered, they can't pass your information on. They can't go home and look up something because they don't remember. So we have to learn how to deliver presentations that are retained in the brain. And the best way for you to retain something in the brain is for you to tell them what you're going to tell them in the open, actually tell them in the body, and then remind them what you told them in the close, right? The 3T method. Tell them what you're going to tell them, actually tell them, and then remind them of what you told them. It's like a filing cabinet. The brain is like a filing cabinet. And the way most influencers need to approach giving a presentation is understanding this. If you say there's 3 drawers in your filing cabinet, that means those are the 3 points of your presentation. What I love about a filing cabinet is that you can't open drawer number 2 if drawer number 1 is still open. So your job is to put good content, come on somebody, in that drawer and close it back before you open up another drawer. But most influencers, because we're so reaction oriented, I can't tell if you're on drawer number 1, 2, or 3 because there's no structure to your presentation. When there is structure, I know when you're in point number 1, drawer number 1. Then when there's structure, I know when you've moved on to drawer number 2, point number 2. And if I can follow you, if I can follow your presentation, I will follow you to the table. I will follow you to your web page. But if I can't follow your presentation, I'm not going to buy. Or I'm going to say what's worse than saying no, which is I'll think about it. And at the end of the day, a confused mind says no, or a confused mind says later. And later means no.
Right. Wow. I love it. I love it. You have a free gift for all of our viewers tonight. Where can they go to learn more about this free gift?
Absolutely. So one of the things I want to do is I want to give you a module of content absolutely free as a direct result of you being a part of this podcast tonight. So I just want you to go to crushthesale.com/lesson. crushthesale.com/lesson. And when you go to that page, you'll be able to watch a literally 7 to 9 minute full-blown lesson from the actual course itself. You could take crazy notes. It's powerful. The content that you're going to learn from that one video alone can make a marked difference. It can increase your closing ratio by at least 15 to 20% from that one video. It's crushthesale.com/lesson. And when you go there, you'll get immediate access to an absolutely free module from the full-blown online course called Crush Your Sales. Now, again, the URL is Crush the Sale because Crush Your Sales was taken. So the name of the course is Crush Your Sales, but the URL is crushthesale.com/lesson. And you will receive one free module of content, absolutely free, just because you were on this incredible podcast.
Good. Okay, so one more nugget. We have time for one more nugget, Delatorro. At the conclusion of our presentation, you say that there is one thing that totally destroys our sales. After we've done a great job in presenting. What is that one thing? Did I miss it? And what is the remedy for it?
So the biggest thing that you must do once you've wowed people, is you must become their trusted advisor afterwards. The number one thing that's going to destroy your sales is relying on hard, pushy sales techniques and strategies to try to twist people's arms. I want you to get
like what a trusted advisor looks like. What does that look like at the end of your presentation?
Absolutely. So if you give a fantastic presentation, at the end of it, people should come up to you and say, man, I got so much value from whatever it is that you shared. I cannot wait to go to the next level with you. And as a trusted advisor, they're going to trust you for not only your product and service that one time, they're going to trust you ongoing. And they're going to trust, and they're going to, can I give one secret away? To become a trusted advisor in the mind of your audience, recommend a solution that includes your product, but not exclusively your product. Here's what I mean by that. If I'm selling my exclusive patented omega-3, 6, and 9 supplements at the back of the room, I'm a wellness speaker, I'm a wellness presenter. On stage, I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, come back to my table. I've got 3 gifts for you that are going to be really, really a great thing that's going to take you to the next level. One is I've got a free checklist of the 12 things in your house that can keep you in optimum health every day. The second thing is I want you to pick up our omega-3, 6, and 9 patented supplement set. It's going to give you your first 90 days of supplements. Boom. The third thing I want you to do is I'm going to give you at my table an absolutely free calendar that shows you exactly how to take the right amount of water, do this, do that, the other. Now, all of a sudden, when you come back to the table, and that person comes back to the table, they're saying, man, I got this checklist of all the stuff that's in my house. I got these supplements and I have a calendar. My goal was to sell supplements, but to become a trusted advisor, I need to recommend other things outside of just that one thing to get trusted advisor status in the mind of the buyer. Does that make sense? So if you're selling, it doesn't matter what you're selling, make sure that you include things other than just that one resource. So that way, so in other words, if I want you to buy my book, I'm gonna say, listen, I want you to go on Amazon. I want you to pick up Click by Dr. George Fraser, one of the best books you'll ever read in your life. Also come back to the back table and pick up my newest book called Caught Between a Dream and a Job. That'll bless your life. Also go to napoleonhill.com/foundation and download the PDF of Think and Grow Rich. So now here's how I just tripled my sales of my own book. I recommended 3 solutions. One you can get on Amazon. I have no financial gain for recommending Click, right? One is my own book, and the other one is a downloadable PDF that they can get for free somewhere else. I'm a trusted advisor because I'm a resource for my audience, and they don't see me as just hawking my stuff alone. Does that make sense?
Does it make sense? That is, you have now reached the 5th mic drop, right? That's equivalent to a 5-star presentation.
Oh, thank you, sir.
That is awesome. Brother Bedford, do we have any questions or anybody? I mean, this is, I guess people were like me, they were just busy taking notes and didn't have a chance to formulate questions. Do you have any questions, Brother Bedford?
Just, George, we probably do have some questions, and I'll go back and check those. But here's what I want to ask Delatorro to speak to real quick, because you said something that struck me as very profound. When you said you got into the industry, the speaking industry, as a motivational speaker, but along the way, something triggered where you went back to what you mastered. Your master's degree was in curriculum development. And so you combine the skill set of speaking with the curriculum development, and you've really become a category of one. There's no one that teaches this the way that you teach it. Can you speak to how that happened and what caused you to combine the two to create your own lane?
And it's a phenomenal question. I get chill bumps as you were asking that, because again, it's like Bishop T.D. Jakes said something that changed my life about 7 years ago. He used to have these events that he used to do called Project Gideon, and he would invite the top up and coming young Christian business leaders under the age of 40 to a very private event that he used to do. And one of the things that he always said was, he said, excellence can never be hidden. And that just blew my mind. He said, have you ever had an excellent steak? And everybody's hands go up. He said, were you able to shut up about that steak? And I said, no. Have you ever been to an excellent restaurant? Were you able to shut up about that restaurant? Ever take an excellent vacation? Were you ever able to shut up about it? He said, excellence cannot be hidden. Brother Bedford, I think for me, the benefit of the instructional design, curriculum design background for me was that it showed me what content looks like, what training and development looks like, what mastery of the learning process looks like. And because my mother was an educator, it was kind of passed down to me the importance of education. And because of all the people that I studied from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, all these people were educators. All of our foremothers and forefathers, Dr. George Fraser, educators. The late, great Dr. Miles Monroe, one of the greatest, baddest, most content-rich per sentence human beings on the planet, educator. And because of that, it just taught me the importance of merging the two, my educational background and the motivational stuff, because I didn't just want people to have rah-rah. Rah-rah is great, but rah-rah doesn't last. You need practical steps. You need action-oriented outcomes. You need learning objectives. You need clear next steps. So for me, the rah-rah wasn't enough. It had to be something substantive that people could run with in terms of how to apply it. So somewhere along the line, man, they just merged together. I said, man, because when you get a degree in instructional design, most people don't even know what the heck that is. But I said, God, you led me down this path for a reason. So there's got to be some connection here. And I wanted to be able to make sure that I could help people understand motivational psychology as well as understand how to improve their lives at the same time, and understand how they could do them both simultaneously. I say it different. You can make a difference in a dollar at the same time. You don't have to do one or the other. You can do both. And so I learned that process, Brother Bedford, and I've just been able to apply that to help as many people as possible, man. So I'm very, very grateful, man, to hear you say that, because it really has been a passion of mine to honor those that have come before me. And again, Dr. George, you set the bar so high. I've always just tried to measure up to the level of excellence that you inspire me to be at. I remember when I came to DC probably like 10 years ago, I got a legacy award of speaking, and you surprised me and showed up and you gave me that award. And then just this year, we're at another event together, getting a legacy award together. I'm just like, just this stuff comes around full circle. And I'm just so grateful, man. But that push, that drive to be excellent comes from modeling excellence. And so that comes from staying around amazing people such as yourself and being committed to learning and growing and always wanting the greats to look back and say, you know what, you made me proud. So I honor you, sir, and I thank you. And this was a joy and this is an honor of mine to add value to your tribe.
Thank you. If you want to meet Delatorro McNeal live and in living color, up close and personal, because here's a brother that comes to the conference, stays at the conference, loves on people, take pictures, sign autographs, sells books. He serves the conference. He is a servant leader. Join us at the Power Networking Conference. Yep, Power Networking Conference. October the 14th through the 17th. Yes, we moved it from July. Hopefully you know this by now. And you know the obvious reason. So October the 14th through the 17th in Houston, Texas. We'll be back there again. And God willing, let's just put it that way. We're not totally in charge at this moment in time. God is still in charge, but I think he's looking down on us favorably, and I feel comfortable that we will be able to meet and greet and love on each other, because I think Black people miss each other. I really
Yes, we do. Come on, somebody.
And I think we will be so excited to get out of the house and to hug each other and to see each other. And we may have to wear a face mask or two. I don't know what the hotel requirements will be, but we will be meeting October the 14th through the 17th. And Delatorro McNeal will be with us along with a whole host of awesome and powerful people. As you know, Forbes magazine named the Power Networking Conference one of the top 5 conferences in America not to be missed. Not one of the top 5 Black conferences, but one of the top 5 of all conferences produced in this country. The first Black conference to receive that honor. We're very, very proud of that. There will be over 1,000 attendees, over 50 speakers, over 40 workshops and intensive learning, over 30 interactive spaces at the conference, 2 stages, 4 meals, and 1 amazing experience. Okay, so each of our podcasts, we do a super duper discount deal for only 5 people, first 5 people. And you know how to get it. The only way you can get it, you can't go on the powernetworkingconference.com website. This offer is not on the website. You can learn everything about the Power Networking Conference on the website, but you can't get this offer. You can only get this offer through me by emailing me, gfraser@frasernet.com. That's gfraser@frasernet.com. In the subject line, say, I'm in. Don't say anything else. In the body of the email, just write your name or type your name and your cell number and your cell number. And I personally will call you, make some jokes, harass you, love on you, and hopefully be persuasive enough tonight from the lessons I've learned from this genius, right, to close the deal. So the first 5 and all emails are timestamped, so I know if you don't get a call back from me personally, you are over the 5. You'll just have to wait to the next time. The next one is with Ron Williams, who is going to do a masterful, this is a brilliant brother, former partner with KMPG, a brilliant mind in the computer sciences, data analytics.
Wow.
As well as, I mean, he is another version of Dr. Randall Pinkett in his comportment and his thinking, but he is going to teach us about how do we do business in under duress, in stressful times. What are the tricks of the trade, so to speak, for doing that? Very, very brilliant brother. He is also a Yoruba priest. That's a very interesting dynamic about Ron. So tune in on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah. And again, if you want the Power Networking Conference, you know what to do. Just email me, gfraser@frasernet.com. You get the closing words, my leader. Whatever you want to say, but you only got 60 seconds to say it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just been blessed. I'm trying to tell you, anytime you get a chance to be in the space of the amazing Dr. George C. Fraser, Brother Bedford, Delatorro, McNeal, anybody else that's honored to be on this platform, you are blessed indeed. My friend, I want to encourage you to remember to celebrate your uniqueness. I'm going to say that again. Celebrate your uniqueness, because if two of us are the same, one of us is unnecessary. I'm going to say that again. Celebrate your uniqueness. Celebrate how unique you are from everybody else on the planet. Because if two of us are exactly the same, one of us is unnecessary. My friend, you are essential. You matter. You count. I want to help you master your skills so you can open up your mouth, because there is money and message and magic in your mouth. Open up your mouth, tell the world who you are. Let me show you how to do it. Visit crushthesale.com/lesson so that way you can begin the journey of me taking you to the next level. Make sure you register right now for the PNC Power Networking Conference 2020 so I can hug your neck and see you, and you'll be in the room, you'll be in the space with the best and the brightest on the planet. Can't wait to see you there.
Delatorro, McNeal, I love you. Brother Bedford, I love you, man. Thank you. You talk about having somebody's back. I love you. My closing thought, and we will end it with this thought. You can easily judge the character of a person by how they treat those who can do nothing for them. Love is the answer. Chart a good and righteous course, my brother. Stay that course, and sisters. And all that is due you will come to you. Good night, everybody.